Okay. Okay. Amazing. So we have Yochanan Davis on. Yishka for joining us. And today we're learning. Okay. First, Mazel Tov that we're Messiah the previous sugya. I said that the Mitzvah before Rosh Hashanah will finish off the sugya. It was really a beautiful sugya that we did. Um, and we're really excited that we finished the sugya all about Zmanim. I think now we have a much better understanding of what's Alois HaShachar, and what's Neitzachama, and what's Meshayakir, and what is 3 hours in the day, and what's 4 hours in the day, and what's Chatzois, and what's a half hour after Chatzois, and what's Mincha Gedoyla, and what's Mincha Ketana, and what's Plaga Mincha, and what's Shkia, and what is Tzeis HaKirchava. I think we've covered it pretty nicely. And Chazdei Hashem, or Baruch Hashem.
מה ההבדל בין עמוד השחר לעמוד השחר? יש הבדל? אין הבדל. רק לשון.
כן, לשונים. Okay, so it is a small sugya, which is Shinui Mokim, Kiddush b'Mokim Seudah, Kiddush b'Mokim Seudah. It's a small sugya, and it's just another building block because we're doing Hilchot Shabbos in our halacha series. And after Mitzvah Sukkot, we're going to figure out which is the new sugya. Probably it'll be Pei Kiddush, which is the next Pei in Shabbos. But in the interim, we're doing a small sugya, which will be another building block which is Kiddush b'Mokim Seudah. Kiddush b'Mokim Seudah. I think it's a very nice sugya. Today,
I agree in Seudah.
Kira.
That's actually.
Yeah. In the meantime, this is a Geshmaka little sugya. Geshmaka little sugya about Kiddush b'Mokim Seudah. Maza Kiddush b'Mokim Seudah. אתה יודע מה זה?
כשאני רעב אני אוכל, זה מה שאני יודע.
אתה עושה קידוש לפני.
It's pashtus. Make a kiddush where you're going to eat.
Yeah. If you make kiddush where you eat, that's a pshat.
It's not.
Yeah, that's a pshat.
It's not it?
And we're going to learn the pshat. You have to, Chazal said, where you eat kiddush, that's where you eat. You have to eat in the place of making kiddush. Ken? Navin?
What about the kiddush here?
But the thing is, Yehudi, it's not just when I'm hungry I eat. One way of saying is, in the Bet Medrash, I'm holy. In the Bet Medrash, I learn, I daven. When I eat, I eat. But Chatzal said, no. Where do you see Kiddush? Where do you see Kiddusha? B'Mokim Seudah. You see a person's holy the way he eats. Don't look at him the way he davens. What is he going to do when he davens? He shocks like a mensch. He eats with kavona l'shem shamayim. B'chol derafecha do'ehu. He wants to elevate the netzutzas kedusha. The Baal Shem Tov said that Evim gam tzmeim nafshem behem tisatov. That when a person is hungry and thirsty, it's not that he wants Coca-Cola or seltzer. The Neshama found his nitzutz kedusha there, and the Neshama is thirsty to elevate the netzutzas of kedusha. The person thinks that he really wants a cup of seltzer. You think it's about a cup of seltzer?
Not too much schnapps.
That he wants to elevate the netzutzas of kedusha in the Coca-Cola, in the schnapps, in the Poland Spring. There's netzutzas kedusha. That's what the neshama wants. Where do you see a person is holy? The Mokim Seudah. You see the holiness of a person in the Seudah. Not in the base matters, in the Seudah. Okay, so now we're learning the sugya of Kiddush b'Mokim Seudah. Now we understand? Okay.
Amen.
Zog the Gemara, the last 3 lines. Choisam b'nei Adam shekitru beveis hakneses The people that make Kiddush in the basic Knesset, Omar Rav, Yidei Yayin, Lo Yotzu. Yidei Kiddush, Yotzu. They were not Yotze, the Bracha Yayin. When they come home, they have to make again, very big up, if they want to drink wine. But Kiddush, they were Yotze, and Shmuel Omar, from the page, Av Yidei Kiddush, Lo Yotzu. Shmuel says that also Kiddush, they were not Yotze, because there has to be Kiddush in Makom Seudah. Zog the Gemara Ela L'Rav, Lama Leila Kedusha Bevesek. According to Rav, if he's Yotze everything in Shul, why is he making Kiddush again at home? He's Yotze Kiddush in Shul. So the answer is in order to be Moitz's family, because the family went out of Shul. Shmuel, Lama Leila Kedusha Bevechnishta. According to Shmuel, why are we making Kiddush in the basic Knesset? Anyway, you're going to make again when you come home for the family. In order to be moitzi the orchim in those days, the basic Knesset used to have orchim.
Even today, the JFK.
The orchim v'shasu v'gonu b'vechnishta. Eat, drink, and sleep in the basic Knesset. Parents, what are you saying? Huh? You said something?
No, you said for the family.
Yeah, for the family. Okay, very good. That's what the Gemara says. So the Gemara about Shmuel Tavei. Shmuel goes with his mahalach, with his shita. Shmuel says, "Ein kiddush ella b'makom seudah." Kiddush is only b'makom seudah.
מה הקושייה לשמואל? אם אחד האורחים עשה את זה, אז מה הבעיה? מה הקושייה לשמואל? אם אתה אומר של האורחים, שאחד האורחים יעשה, גמרנו עניין.
כן.
אז מה הקושייה? מה הקושייה לשמואל?
הגמרא בקושייה לא ידע את התירוץ. לא ידעת תירוץ, שזה כל העניין של הקידוש זה בשביל האורחים. הגמרא חשבה שהעניין של קידוש בבית כנסת זה בשביל האנשים בבית הכנסת.
אז רגע, זה שמואל אומר או שגמרא אומר?
הגמרא אומר להסביר את שיטת שמואל. שלפי שמואל זה שעושים קידוש בבית הכנסת זה לא בשביל כולם, זה רק בשביל האורחים. אבל המקשן סבר שלא, זה לא כך, שעושים קידוש בשביל כולם. ככה סבר המקשן. We're learning about Kiddush and Makom Seudah. We were talking in the introduction about Kiddush and Makom Seudah, and maybe I'll go back to the introduction later. But just that last week we completed the sugya about Zmanim, and the Mitzvah after Sukkot will start a new sugya for the winter. In the meantime, we're learning a small sugya, which is Kiddush and Makom Seudah, which also clicks in with what we're learning Shabbos before Mincha, which is Shini Makom Bebrocha, and this is their mamash link, like two links in a chain. So it's a nice sugya. In the meantime, we'll go through one more siman in Shulchan Aruch and Hilchos Shabbos, which is Kiddush and Makom Seudah, which is an important. Okay. Let's back in the Gemara. Now, Shmuel says, "Ein Kiddush ela b'makom seudah." Kiddush is only b'makom seudah. You have the booklet. It's a daf kuf aleph. 6 lines. 6 lines. Yeah. Sova minei. They yeshiva thought, "Hani milim in bais labais." Avam b'makom l'makom b'chad beis. Loy. Bais labais is a problem. But Malkim Malkim in one house is not a problem. That's all considered Malkim Seudah. Amar lo Rabbanan Batakhlif. Rabbanan said, no, you guys are making a mistake. Zimnin Sagin. There's many times. Have a kamina kamei the Shmuel. I was standing in front of Shmuel. V'nochis me'igra liyara. He would go from upstairs to downstairs. V'hadam Kaddish. And he would make again Kiddush just because igra la'ara same house. So we see from here that even within the same house, if you're going from Igir La'ara, which for Pashas means any time you go from room to room, that you lost your Kiddush because it's not Makom Seudah. Makom Seudah goes in every room separately. Kiddush וגם לברכה. כן.
אני יודע שהתקרה היא מספיקה, לא? זאת אומרת, בחדר ההוא, בחדר הזה אני צריך לברך פעמיים?
כן.
כן?
חוץ, אם יש לך דת, שאתה חושב שאתה גם אוכל בחדר שלי.
I listen for your Kiddush here, Shabbat. And then I go upstairs to the woman to make Kiddush. So I have to come back and make another Kiddush here?
So you have to eat a cookie before you go upstairs.
Yeah. Or Revius Yain.
Or have a Revius Yain. We'll learn before we get to the solutions.
I take some wine.
Yeah.
Drink it. Then I
No,
go
you have to have more.
upstairs.
We'll learn the halachas and mitzvah. Now we're learning the Gemara. But it's a good question. Af Rav Huna Savar. Rav Huna also holds and Kiddush Elam Makom Suda. The Rav Huna Kodesh, Rav Huna made Kiddush, Visakar Lushraga, and his light was blown out. The Havishraga, and he brought his kalim, his pot, his pan, his chont, his kugel, his gefilte fish, whatever, into the garden of Rabbi his son, because his son had light in the garden, the Kodesh, and he made Kiddush again, the Toy Midi, and he ate something. Almost, but here's that I Kasava that he holds in Kiddush El B'Makom Suda. Kiddush must be B'Makom Suda. Af Rabbi Sover in Kiddush El B'Makom Suda. Dam Rabbi said, Kavina Beimar. When I used to go to my Rebbe's house, Rabbi was the Rebbe of Abaya V'Rabbas. Ke'ava Mekadosh, when you would make Kiddush, Amar he would say to us, Timu Midi, Hindalach, eat something. Dilma may be Adas Lisa Ushpiza, till you go back to your dormitory, to your Ushpiza, your place where you sleep. Misakar Lukum Shiraga, the light will already be okar, it will be already blown out. And you're not going to make Kiddush because your light is already is off. So you're going to go to sleep. Whatever, you're tired and the light is off. You're going to say, "Go, let's go to sleep." The Kiddush the hocha loinafkisa, and the Kiddush from here you want to yotze. Then Kiddush B'Makom Suda. So therefore, he would tell the students. Apparently, his students would come to his house, and they would learn Torah before Seudah Shabbos. So I probably they daven Ma'ariv, and then they learned, and then they would have the Seudah. It's a very unusual thing. Usually, every shul, you finish Kabbalah Shabbos and Ma'ariv, everyone goes home and eats, right? In Lubavitch yeshivas, in the winter, there's no such a thing. They finish Tfilas Arvis, and then they learn Chasidus until 8 o'clock. It could be 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours. They learn. Why do you go to sleep? Go. Shabbos comes in, the sun sets at 4 o'clock. Huh?
You're not hungry?
Eat a piece of kugel before the convention.
Fine.
Marash. Eat a little. Otherwise, you never like. What do you mean? What were they doing in the Rebbe's house?
They were at Marlowe. They were at Marlowe. Sunday to stage one till like 11:30.
Okay. Not everyone's Rabbi Marlowe. The Seudah Yeshiva till today in Chabad, that in the winter they learn Friday night until 8 o'clock. What do you need? Why do you need to go early for a Seudah? What are we going to do? Right? So learn till 8 o'clock, and bring in Shabbos, B'Kedusha, we're going to have this. It's very nice. So that's what they used to do. They used to learn with Rabba. And then it got late. So he said, let's stay in my house. Hear Kiddush. Eat a little bit. So you have Kiddush B'Makom Suda. Just in case when you come home, your Shabbos candle is already not burning. You see from here clearly that they all had a Shabbos candle. So people don't realize you have a Shabbos candle. Yes. They think it's only for the mommy and the bubby and the girl. Okay, continue.
They didn't invent the electricity.
Okay.
לא החמירו בעניין הזה כל כך. שאם עברת מקום או...
לא, מחמירים בטח.
כן, אבל עיקר מדורית, רק הספירה זה עיקר.
לא, אבל חכמים עשו. עיקר מדרייסה, אסור לאכול בשר בחלב, אבל כמה חכמים עשו. גם בשר עוף. החכמים עשו דברים. אצלם היה מאוד חשוב שהקידוש יהיה דווקא במקום סעודה. והטעם לא.
ברגע שמזכיר לי,
מחר נלמד על זה. היה פה חוכמה. Chazal ratu שזה יהיה ככה דווקא. The Gemara Eini doesn't make sense. Omar Abaye said, "Kol mila demana about Kedav." My Rebbe did everything like Kedav. Lobar Mahane Plaza, but those three things he did like Shmuel. He said, "Matidin me beged lebeged," that you're allowed to take tzitzis from one beged to another beged. Matlik v'ner you like to light candles from one to the other. We'll learn a second why there's a whole discussion about if it's we learned it last year in the Second Shabbos of Chavez. If it's an embarrassment for the first Neshal Mitzvah, yeah, not. So he was making, he was making like Reb Shimon, the Tanya of Shimon, Megorah, Mitikis of Safsal, the Shabbos. Person could drag a mita and Shabbos, but Vatchel is Kavan Latzachritz, because Dav Shem is Kavan, Dav Shem is Kavan is Mutter. So the Gemara answers, Chumre de Rav Ovid. Huh? I'll make a scratch.
In the ground.
In the ground. And it looks like he's plowing. But because it's not for sure going to happen, maybe it will or maybe not. And he's not being miskaven. So Shem says, Dav Shem miskaven is mutter b'Shabbos. And that's the way he paskins. So Abaye said that everything my Rebbe did only like an Av. So what happened? That'll be, and only three things he did like Shmuel. So now is a fourth that he did like Shmuel. What's going on over here? So the Gemara says, he did everything like the Chumras of Rav. He didn't do like the Kulas of Rav. This was a Kula. Rav said you don't have to have Kiddush Makam Seudah. It's easy. Can't make Kiddush here, eat 10 blocks away. Shmuel was Machmir. And Shmuel said, Ein Kiddush Makam Seudah. So that's not, when the rule that Rabbi did everything like Rav was only for Chumras. For Kulas, it was different. So Kulas is a totally different thing. Okay. So bottom line is that he passed him like Shmuel. That we passed the Ein Kiddush Elo b'Makom Seudah. כן, כן. למה הוא עושה כשמואל?
למה רבא עשה כשמואל?
לא, למה רבא ורבי יוסף עשו כשמואל. רבא, המנהג שלו היה לעשות כמו רב. לא כמו שמואל. אז למה בפעם הזו הוא כן עשה כשמואל?
לפי רבא אתה חייב לעשות קידוש ולאכול.
כן.
זה לפי רבא.
כדין לפי רבא וכך הדין לפי רב.
אוקיי, ולפי שמואל?
לא, זה ככה הדין לפי שמואל.
ולפי רב? טוב.
ורב, you can make a kiddush in one place and eat in the other place.
אבל זה לא יוצא מכאן, הסיפור פה יוצא, אמרנו, תעשה קידוש ותאכלו פה.
כן. So we see רבא holds like Shmuel. Before we had a
רב לשמואל, בין רב לשמואל.
Rav Shmuel.
יופי.
Now Rabbah said Shmuel is right and Rav is wrong. Rav said in Kiddush you could have Kiddush wherever you want.
Yeah.
And Shmuel said it has to be Kiddush with Makom Seudah.
זה מה שהבנו מרב, רב אמר.
Okay. Rav said Yidei Yayin Lo Yotzu Yidei Kiddush Yotzu. So if they hear Kiddush in the Bet Knesset and they eat at home, they were Yotzu.
ידי יין יצאו, ידי קידוש, אז הם יצאו ידי יין, אבל חייבים עדיין לעשות סעודה בבית, ככה משמע. צודק?
ידי קידוש יצאו.
זאת אומרת, בבית לעשות קידוש.
לא צריך לעשות קידוש. אם רוצים לשתות יין, אז צריך להגיד עוד פעם בפרי הגופן. אבל קידוש לא צריך עוד קידוש, לפי רב.
אז מה ידי יין יצאו, מה הכוונה? זאת אומרת, ידי יין יצאו, ידי קידוש לא יצאו.
ידי יין לא יצאו, ידי קידוש כן יצאו.
זאת אומרת, הוא מגיע הביתה, הוא לא צריך לעשות קידוש.
כן. אבל אם רוצה לשתות יין, כן צריך לעשות עוד ברכה. אבל קידוש עוד לא צריך לעשות עוד פעם קידוש.
אז זאת אומרת, לא צריך לעשות קידוש.
מה יעשה ברכה למוצק?
לא צריך, יגיע הביתה ויעשה המועצה. ישר המועצה.
וגם מה שעושה בבית כנסת, זה כן מוציא את אלה?
לפי רב כן?
זאת אומרת, כל החבר'ה שיש שם, אם הוא עושה קידוש, הם כבר יכולים לאכול.
כן.
והוא מגיע הביתה, הוא לא צריך לעשות קידוש עוד פעם.
לא. כן. אז השאלה, למה רבא עשה כמו שמואל? הרי המנהג שלו היה לעשות כמו רב. The truth is that halacha is always like Rav. Halacha kerav b'sur. Like Shmuel ben Mamayni. But here there's a yoitzim and a klal. Even though the halach is usually kerav visuri and kishmo b'mamoini, but here we'll see in a second that we even pass against Rabbi Yochanan. Usually the halach is always like Rabbi Yochanan. And yoitzim and a klal only for Rabbi Yochanan goes against Rabbi Shmuel Levi. But Rabbi Yochanan is like Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan always comes out on the top. Still over here, Shmuel wins because the Gemara is going to bring a brayse. It has nothing to do. It's just the Gemara asked on Rabba, Kasha, and Rabba. For us, and Ishkin Kasha, us, there's three shittas, Rab, Shmuel, and Rabbi Yochanan, and there's a brayse to say that Shmuel is right. So once we have a brayse, that's the way we do. So the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan, no ma'afi the yain namiyot. Third shittas is Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says that not only there's no problem with Shimi Mokim Lagabe Kiddush, but also Lagabe Brocha is not a problem. Also, Rabbi Yochanan Tamei, Rabbi Yochanan is Shittis, Amr Bchan Barabba, Barabai, Amr Pedos, Amr Rabbi Yochanan, Echot Shinu Yayin, Echot Shinu Mokim, Ain't Soref Levorech. I don't care if it's Shinu Yayin, Shinu Mokim, there's never a problem. So, you want to make we have a kasha on Rabbi Yochanan. Shes Shinu Mokim, Soref Levorech. That if you're Mishana Mokim, you have to make a new bracha. Shinu Yayin ain't Soref Levorech. If you make Shinu Yayin, you don't have to make again Bori Priya Gof.
What's Shinu wine?
Shinu Yayin means you have one bottle of wine, then you have a second bottle of wine. So ain't so it's you don't have to make another Bori Priya Gof.
Second bottle?
For the second bottle. You have to make a Toiva Meita, but that's a separate issue.
The same wine or different wine?
Doesn't matter. It could be 10 different barrels of wine. But since you made Bori Priya Gof,
Because it's all about whatever.
because it's all Bori Priya Gof.
No, if he has the same wine, he
And
doesn't.
especially if you learn like Al Terebe's Kiddush,
What's your
and
name?
say the Bertzanenan, apple to apple and wine to wine, doesn't matter what you had in mind or didn't have in mind. You never Masiyach Das. So if you learn the Braise, Kipshuta, Shini, and Intzarach Lavarach, you can stand on your head. It doesn't matter what, when, and where. As long as it's wine and wine, you're never going to have to make another bracha. Ever, 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 ever. Because apples to apples, you never, ever make another bracha. Kash and the other shit is not like that. They're going to say, Shini, and Intzarach Lavarach, and a little bit of wine is left in the first bottle.
But if it's better wine, you have to make Atava Mitir.
Not a go. Not a tradition. Not a go. Not a
אבל
go.
ברגע שעושה קידוש, כבר עושה בורא פרי הגפן.
Right?
נו, אז מה, עשה עוד פעם? הנה, לך שינת היין.
Yeah.
יין אחר. ממילא בקידוש שעושה בורא פרי הגפן, כבר עשה עוד פעם על היין?
אפשר לחשוב כך.
למה?
למה?
אם עשיתי בורא פרי הגפן, למה שאני אעשה עוד פעם? אני לא מבין את הנקודות פה מאוד לא כל כך...
למה? אפשר לחשוב. אפשר לחשוב.
אם אני עושה קידוש...
אם אתה לא פוסק כמו אדמו"ר הזוקן, אם אתה לא מן השולחן אורך, לא, בלי החידושים של אדמו"ר הזוקן, אתה חושב אם אתה עושה ברכה לתפוח, אתה גומר את כל התפוח, אתה רוצה עוד תפוח, ולא היה בדעתך לאכול עוד תפוח, אתה חייב לעשות עוד הפעם פרי העץ.
כן, זה אני יכול עוד להבין, אבל אני חשבתי...
אז זה מה שהברייתא אומר, יש לך שני חביות של יין, וגמרת לשתות כל החבית הראשון, הווי אמינה, צריך עוד פעם פרי גוף על החבית השני.
הבנתי, אבל ממילא עושה קידוש.
אז הברייתא אומר, לא צריך.
אבל ממילא עושה קידוש.
לא נדבר עכשיו על קידוש. ביום שני.
קידוש.
לא, ביום שני. ספר, יום שני. שתיתי כל החבית יין. עכשיו אני רוצה לפתוח עוד חבית יין. ואני שואל, אני צריך לעשות עוד אגף או לא? אז הברייתא אומר, אין צורך, לא צריך עוד פעם פרי גוף.
ואם היה לך כוונה?
לא, ביום שני אני אוכל ברקפסט, ואני אוהב לשתות יין עם הברקפסט ביום שני. אז שתיתי כל החבית יין, ועכשיו אני פותח חבית שני. אז צריך לעשות עוד הפעם פרי גופן או לא.
אם זה הטוב ומטיב, אני מבין.
הגופן, זה השאלה. הברייתא אומר, לא צריך, אבל זה לא כל כך פשוט. למה זה פשוט?
But if you make kavana, you finish the first and said, you know what, I'm going to probably open another one.
No, the Braisa is not talking about Kavana. If you had Kavana, you wouldn't have to have the Braisa. That would be obvious, probably. Probably that would be obvious. Probably the Braisa is talking about Kavana, and that's the Kiddush. That's the way I would learn. So the Gemara,
I'm leaving, I'll
here.
eat later.
So we see here against Rabbi Yochanan, we see that Shini Mokim Tzarech Lavarich. The Gemara says Tufta the Rabbi Yochanan Tufta. That's it. Rabbi Yochanan is shlugged up. Tufta the Rabbi Yochanan. That's it. Finished. So we see here that Shini Mokim Tzarech Lavarich. Shini Mokim Tzarech Lavarich. So okay.
Story. If you remember,
Zog the Gemara Yosef Rabbi Aidi Barovin Kemed Reb Chizda. Yosef Ridu Barovin Kemed Reb Chizda. Yosef Reb Chizda the Kama Mishmed Reb Huna Reb Chizda was saying, Hold on, Shini Mokim Tzarech Lavarich. When we say Shini Mokim Tzarech Lavarich, what should we buy? Lavarich. This that you said Shini Mokim Tzarech Lavarich, that's a problem when you went with bias labias. But with Mokim lamokim or bias, not a problem. This is what the Mishnah says. The Braisa, Rebun is telling me a Kiddush, a Braisa. It's obvious, it's a Braisa, it's a Gemara. Rebun didn't know it's a Braisa, that's why he said it. But the truth is, it's obvious, it's a Braisa. Let's learn Rashi, just this Rashi. Ein tzarech levorich, shnei alayayim. Okay, memokim lomokim. Rashi says that shini mokim is only mebayis labayis, and mokim lomokim is not a problem. Mebayis la'aliyah, Rashi says, is not a problem. If you want to go mebayis la'aliyah, no problem. If you want to go mebayis la'aliyah, the whole bias is one thing. Look at this. This is Rashi Shita. We're not going to pass like Rashi. We're going to pass my Tosis. I'll know Tosis in a second. Rashi holds, at least when it comes to Kiddush, Kiddush is not different than Bracha. Bracha, if you're going to go Me'igir al you have a problem. Like we saw, I'm sorry, Fakir, Lagabe Kiddush. I'm sorry, the other way around. What we said before. Lagabe Kiddush, if you're going to go Me'igir al like for upstairs to downstairs, like the story of Shmuel, they want Me'igir al so you lost your market. But Lagabe Bracha, the whole house is one market. The Kiddush is more chumradik, according to Rashi. So according to Rashi, when we say that you need the same makom for Kiddush and for Bracha, is not the same rule. Well, it's not where we're going to pass in Shulchan Aruch. It's going to come. It makes it easier because the rules have to be different. Whenever rules have to be different for this and that, it gets more complicated. Bottom line is, it's simple. But also, obviously, in Lomdus, it's a different verstand. According to Rashi, Kiddush and the Bracha, it must be a different Lomdus. But we pass my Tosos. It's Hainu Hach. Okay. Since I already mentioned it, so let's turn back to that one Tosos. I think it's important to understand the Yesod of this Mafloikas Rishona. It's going to become very relevant, I think, la'aloch. Understanding here comes out la'aloch. It's a small Tosos. Aval me'makom la'makom. Kafkuf Aleph Amad Aleph. In the middle of in the booklet, it's the second page. Yeah. It's the fourth Tosos. Aval me'makom la'makom b'chad beisa. So the Gemara was talking about Kiddush, and the Gemara says that mebayis lebayis, not a problem. That's what the Gemara says. Pirush mechede lebayis, mebayis la'aliyah. Avo mepina lepina, yesh Kiddush. If you want to go from one corner to another corner, there's not a problem in the same room.
Kiddush applicate.
Keyesh Kiddush, keyesh lo choshev shina makom b'samach. Just like later, if you want to go mipina lapina, it's not a problem. So you see, Tosis learns that later, when we're talking about mokim and bracha, when we said it's not a problem, we only meant in one cheder mipina lapina. And by Kiddush also, when we said the bottom line by Kiddush is that you're allowed to go mipina lapina in one cheder, but you can't go mecheder lacheder. Come on, Gabi Shina Mokim, the Kamar Loshana Mibayis Labayis, and you, Mishnei Mekamis Bachad Bayis, Korban Mibayis Labayis. I don't want to do the Miyu Yesh from the Garsi, whatever, because it's more fun. I don't know the Hemshech, the Gemara. Whatever. Miyu Yesh from the Garsi, Rocha Mipina Lapina. And the Toisvis must have learned that in the Gemara later, for sure the Girsa was Mipina Lapina. Even though we don't have it in our Gemara, if you look later, it doesn't say Mipina Lapina. Toisvis must have learned that Shinum Lamakim later, Loitzara. We didn't have it Rashi as Giyas and Makom Lamakim Loy. He had Mipina Lapina Loy. So according to Toysir, and according to Toysir, could be even here in the Gemara. It's also Mipina Lapina. It's just according to the second pshat in Toysir, the Hemshech Gemara is a little bit funny. That the Gemara says in Kiddush Makom Seudah. They thought it's not a problem. And then the Gemara says that Raya, and the Raya is not to slug it up, to say it's true. Migral Ara was a problem, but Mepina is not. It's just semantics, how you read the Hemshech HaGemara. So according to the second Gis and Toisvis, so, and the first, we want to come to the same thing. And the first way in learning Toisvis, the Hemshech Gemara is that they said, that even upstairs downstairs is good. No, upstairs downstairs is bad. From Pina to Pina, one room is good. Or Chatchila, the Gemara already knew the answer, just brought a ayah to us. But the bottom line is we see that Tosfos holds, and this is going to be the halacha, that Kiddush and Bracha are the same thing. And if you have four walls, this room becomes one unit. And therefore, when we say Kiddush b'Makom Seudah or Bracha has to be in this Makom, and Mishana Makom, Mishana Bracha, so that's the same. The rules are here and here at the Zobazach. Mepina Lapina and one Cheder, it's one Makom. And as soon as you're going from Cheder to Cheder, it's a separate Makom. And I don't care. Vada, it's already, that's it. It's already a different Makom. One Makom is only in the same Cheder, and you got to go Mipina Lapina. And that's a very simple. Okay, and that's going to be the halacha. Shulchan Aruch is not even going to bring Rashi as an opinion. And this, I don't know why. It's like funny. Sometimes Rashi gets ignored. The Rosh, and we like the Shulchan Aruch is very much based on the Rosh, because the Tur was his son, and the Beis Yosef based himself on the Tur. And you have to realize that the Rosh is really a digest of the Tosfos. So a lot of times, it ends up in halacha, even though when we learn Gemara, Milach Gadol Mirashi. Yeah, you missed the boat last night, so I'm telling you again for you. Sunday night, it doesn't matter much. Okay. Sunday night, I said a beautiful quote like Shimshon Aster Apollo. He was a moededik in the Kubel. He died al Kiddush Hashem. And everyone said that Shimshon Aster Apollo gesagt that it says Kabnois Sola Achmiro Latzon Shayosh Afil Rois Tam Kachardol Hipas Dam Kachardol Shayosh Malov Shiva Nakim. So Shimshon Aster Apollo said the Kiddush of Rashi was so big. Al Tipas Dioishal Rashi Tzorech Lashev Shiva Nakim. That every Tipas Dioy that came out of Rashi's. My daughter works for Chabad House, and she runs. She's director in Park Slope. One of her jobs is to write the rabbis Torah for Shabbos. So she has a very good.
She writes for them?
Yeah. Why not? Maybe she should write.
She does the whole thing.
She does the whole thing. So I mean.
Did she get it from you?
No. I wouldn't use her thing because I wouldn't send that unless it was my input. When I used to send it with Mookie, which I used to do with her, but no, she does herself. So Friday night she shares, her. So she this week she had a very good one. She finds all of them. She goes and she looks. She finds them. She's not machadish, but Rashi's daughter was coming down the steps Friday night, and her father commented, "Wow, what a nice dress." So Rashi's daughter said, "You have to give a commentary for everything."
That's cute.
So that if Shimshon asked that Apollo gesagt every tip was Yoish Rashi is Shiva Nakim. But Lapoyo, a lot of times in Halacha, so in this you'll see when we'll get to the Halacha, the reason I'm making such a big deal with Shittas Rashi is I'll tell you right now. Why I'm making a big deal out of this. Even though he's ignored, but you see that Amos says, and this is what we pass on, it's very negaya, that if you have machshava that you can go into other cheder it becomes one mark. And I haven't found even one achman that has the Taz that disagrees with the Magen Avraham. Well, we pass like that. I mean the Ramah. The Taz disagrees with Magen Avraham, with the Magen Avraham, with the Ramah. And we pass like the Ramah, but like I haven't seen anyone that come to explain what the like to answer the kashas. So I'm thinking cheap teretz maybe, but not so much this. But in the Ramah's mind, in one bias, you couldn't be that bad. How bad can it be? Bebayis Echos. According to Rashi, Bebayis Echos is not considered Shinimok. Lagabi Broch. We're talking Lagabi Broch, not Lagabi Kiddush. So how bad could it be already if you're Bebayis Echos? So maybe that's what the Ramah had in mind. Okay. Anyway, that's the. Huh?
Rashi.
Not Kim Lagamri. He's saying if you had Rashi holds it, as long as you Bebayis I don't even think, and you don't even need das. It's considered one mock. So maybe the mind looks at a little bit of a pshara. Tosfos says it has to be only pina bechederech. She said if you can have das, at least it will go Bebayis because we don't see in the Gemara that das should be an issue. Why the Ravid mentions it on the Rambam? So maybe that's okay. Okay. Okay, now we're starting a new thing.
In Birkas Hamazon, you can have in mind to continue the Seudah in another location. But you're saying with Kiddush, you make a blessing, one blessing for the house. What do you mean? Every room you have to make a different blessing?
Yeah, unless you had in mind when you made the bracha that you can eat in the other room. Okay, the Seudah Shiur Reb Chizda. Seudah Shiur Reb Chizda. Kuf Aleph, yeah. The Kama Mishmei the Nafshei, Reb Chizda was sitting and he said his own thing. Hold the Kamar, this that you said that we're back in Daf Kuf Aleph Amud Beis, and we're like 6-7 lines into the Amud. The Seudah Shiur Reb Chizda, the Kama Mishmei the Nafshei, Reb Chizda was saying his own thing. Hold the Kama Shini Makom Tzarech Labarich. When we said Shini Makom is a problem, you have to make the bracha again. It's only things that you don't need. You don't have the chiyuv of making the bracha b'mkoimon. Things that you do have to make the bracha b'mkoimon. You don't have to make another bracha. My time, and what's the reason? He's going back to his first place. He's going back to the first place. So we're learning this because this is going to help us understand what we're learning Shabbos. In Shini Mokim and Mitzvah Shem will also learn now that in Siman Veish Tam Zayin Shabbos Kiddush b'Mokim Seudah. So it'll help us out. Well, I don't know. Well, this is Shayla Gdola. 1 second. Hold it. So basically there's a din that Chazal wanted that you should make the bracha of Achrona b'Mkoim. Wherever you eat, that's where you have to make the bracha Achrona. Not stop. Chazal were very makpid that you have to make the bracha Achrona b'Mkoim. Even when it comes to bread, we don't find that there should be minat Torah that you should. In Shabbos I mentioned the Tosfos. The Tosfos says, the Gemara says, you have to sit down and. So the Tosfos found a nutrika. Tosfos says, Chalta v'Savota is Eis Sheif. But okay, that's a derabon. Nutrikan has to be a derabon. But the Rabbanan wanted, when you finish eating, thank Hashem in that mokum. In the mokum you ate. Don't stop thank Hashem. You ate here and you jump in your car, and while you're driving, you're making alamichya. But where you eat, that's where you. So the shaila is. So Chisda says the person knows. This is a very fun din because a chumrah turns into akula. You know you have to come back to the smoke. So the fact that you walked out of this room means nothing. You know you got to come back here. But so even if you didn't come back here, that's the funny thing of the because you know, if you didn't come back, you're still yotzi bracha. Even if you didn't come back, you were not masir dasti because you know you got to go back. So as long as you know you got to go back, you're good. You know you got to go back. You know you got to go back.
Even though I'm in another room.
Yeah, I know I got to come back. And even if I don't come back, I know I got to come back. I'm tired. I know I have to come back. I know I got to come back. Which things do I have to come back for? There's three sheep that's here. There's Rash and the Rashbam, there's the Rashbam, the Toysvas. The Rashba says you got to go back to Mokum only for pass. Chalta v'savota. Only pass. When the person talking about Chalta v'savota, pass. You only got to go back to Mokum for pass. So the only by pass am I going to say that if you left the room, you were not Masir Das. Toysva says it also is about cookies and cake, all Chameshes Minei Dogon. The Rashbam says, and Rashi say, even Shivas Minei Dogon, even Shivas Aminim, anything that you make, Alamichya, Alagefen, Alapedis, you got to go back Lamakoiman. You got to go back Lamakoiman.
But as a general rule with blessings, you make a decision. Am I going to make a blessing every time and have everything in mind? Or am I going to make one by one? You have to take a derek, right? You're making a shakol. Is it a shakol for each item, or is it one shakol until it grows out the blessing?
It's not exactly what we're talking about now. We're talking about moving from place to place. We're not talking about
it's a new blessing
item to item.
Huh?
We're not talking about item to item. We're talking about place to place.
Within the same house?
We're talking about if a person's going, the Chizda said, if you need to come back to this place, if it's a thing that you need to come back to this place, so you know that when you walk out of the room, you're going to have to come back. So since you know you're going to have to come back, so you're not Masir Das. You're not Masir Das. One second. This time is very short. And it's Gishmak Avoid. Shochnor says, the Ashkenazim, I'm talking now for the Ashkenazim. Sfardim is a little different. The Sfardim are going to pass like Reb Sheshes. The Ashkenazim go passing like the Chisda, because that's where all the Ashkenazim go. The Balei Toysvos, the Rosh, the Tur, everyone. Okay. So, what does it mean you have to go back to the Mekoyim? So, L'chatchila, you should always make the bracha chrein in this room. But if you already left, so okay, but there's a shita that says you have to go back. There's a shita that says you have to go back. So we're makel, and we say unless it's a bird in the foshes, the kiva kama hodar, that you didn't lose your bracha. Ashkenazim. Okay. So frek Rebbe Akiva Eger Rabban B'Shaila, and he leaves it with a tzorich chiyun, not a tzorich chiyun gadol. He leaves it with a tzorich chiyun. Tell you why he didn't leave it with tzorich chiyun gadol. Rebbe Akiva Eger says, I don't understand. Safek brachas lahok. So if a person walked out of this room, he ate a grape, a few grapes. He walked out of the room, and he called it off. He says, "Am I mechuyev to go back to the original room?" So machlokes apoiskim. Safek brachas, you don't have to go back. Right? If a yid walked out of this main sholosh, when do you have to have mekoyim for pass? Some say only pass. Some say only pass Amazon. Some say pass Amazon and grapes. So Rav, if he called it off, the Rav would tell him, Safek brachas, you don't have to go back. Okay. So next time he goes out of the room, he knows he doesn't have to come back. He yesterday called it off. The psak didn't change. He called yesterday the Rav, and he asked the Rav, I ate grapes in the house, and by mistake I went out. Do I have to go? The Rav said no. So tomorrow when he ate grapes and he walked out of the house, he's not going to call it off. He knows he doesn't have to go back. So why are you pasking me in Shulchan Aruch that even if he ate grapes, l'kiva kama hodar, he doesn't have to make a bracha. So for sure he's going to go back. He's not going to go back. If he called it off and asked him, the Rav says you don't have to go back. Oh, you're stealing my tenets. Come on. You have to let me have a Kiddush over here. So, and he leaves it with a tzorech iyum. So the Welt sagt, if you answer a kasher to Bakiva, get a tzorech iyum, you're a fool. Tzorech iyum godel, you're a big fool. I think the teretz is so poshut. Taka, if a person goes out of a room, he called it off, he said, I ate grapes. Am I mechuyev to go back? So the Rav is going to say, you're not mechuyev. But, if you're Erlich Hayid, you should go back. It's Machloikis. Savik Rachs Lahokel says that I can't force you to go back. But if you want to be an Erlich Hayid, for sure you should go back. And by the way, you might find a Arniki de Dehava. You might find a bag full of gold. It says for sure Kedai to go back for finding a bag of gold. But the Gemara says that the guy was not chayiv to go back, and he went back to do bit of bracha b'mkoim, and he found a bag of gold. For sure, the Rav is going to tell him, go back, Yankele. There's going to be a bag of gold. The building campaign. See, I said I'm going to plug into every drasha and share the building campaign. I forgot tonight. So the Rav is going to say, go back. You're going to find the Aaron Kid of the Hava. So he's going to go back. So next time he's going to know he has to go back. So it's not such a big kasha to Bakiva Egis. I think if I am for the Bakiva Egis kasha. Okay.
אז יוצא שיר לקח הכי זרשים, אכלת פה והלכת למקום אחר ואכלת שם אתה לא צריך לברך.
כן.
טוב, בדיוק, הרעיון שלך לחזור לפה ממילא, כך הוא מחייב, אז אם הלכתי לחדר אחר, אני לא צריך לברך עוד פעם.
אם אכלת שם, כן, בדיוק אכלת שם.
זה בניגוד לתוספות.
נלמד על זה מחר, יותר את ההלכות. Okay, we'll leave it at this right now. Okay, we're leaving the Gemara at this. We'll continue. Okay? And Mitzvah Hashem, next time we can continue in Gemara, it'll really be Tavshin Pei Vav.
So according to this, every time you go back, you find another dinar zahav.
Yeah, another.
More than in your there.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Every Eid, how many times did it happen that an Eid was made sure to make a bracha, and then forgot and went back? Every Jew deserves bags and bags of gold. Alter Rebbe says that the Gemara says that Nebuchadnezzar Rasha got Malchus for 3 generations because he took 3 steps to cover Hashem. I spoke about it the other day. And Alter Rebbe says Ein Lech Adam Yisrael that didn't do 100 times more than Nebuchadnezzar. For sure, every Jew deserves kol tuv sela b'kashmis u'beruchnas.
But he did it L'Shem Shammai. He did it because
he probably didn't even do L'Shem Shammai. Culture came for every Jew. So same thing over here. How many times that happened? And you ran back and you made the bracha chananim b'mkoimah. So l'chaim, every Jew deserves bags and bags full of arniki the dahav.
Was it Nebuchadnezzar? That's who went back 3 steps.
3 steps.
And what about going forward?
He went forward. He ran 3 steps to cover the.
He went back.
No, he went forward. He went 3 steps to cover the Shem.
I
No, he didn't go back.
went back or not?
Oh, no.
Why did he go back?
Dude, that's nothing to do with that. I don't know.
What was it? When Nebuchadnezzar?
Yeah, it was a long story. He wanted to write the letter to Skio Melech Yehuda in a respectful way to Hashem, and he heard that the letter was written not so respectful. It's a long story. There was a Chazkiyo, and then
Not God's
no.
We write.
There was such a Skio Melech Yehuda. Thank you for joining us. Pinchas Elio, Shkoyach, Shumi, Shkoyach, Yochanan, Simon Toiva. Asisi, you are gebenched, you are a healthy year.
Amen. Amen. Seid gesund.
Right.